We are 16 days into this government shutdown. Yesterday at work, we closed out our time cards early for the week, assigning every single day furlough status. They do not expect that we will be paid next week. Next week will be our first full missed paycheck. I am essentially working on an IOU, and yet my creditors don't really want to accept IOUs. Doesn't seem very fair. Imagine, if you will, imagine that you own a restaurant. And let's just preface this with the knowledge and the understanding that these politicians, they are civil servants. They are hired through an election process to work for us, to represent our interests. And they are paid with our tax dollars. That very literally makes the people their boss. We forget that again and again and again, and we let them act like they run the show. And in a lot of ways, they do, because we've given our power away to them. Imagine you own a restaurant and you hire two people to do the budgeting and the stock. You hire them. One is going to do dry goods, one is going to do food. And you give them a allotted amount of money and you say, I need you to budget and I need you to purchase. Get with the kitchen staff, the kitchen management, and ensure that for January, we have everything we need. January is a busy month. I want to make sure we are stocked and nothing will prevent us from opening at any given point. Everything's going to flow smoothly. We're not going to run out of stock of anything. Everything's going to be good. And you tell them this in December. December 31st, they still don't have a budget. They haven't bought a damn thing. Nothing. They don't like the kitchen staff. For whatever reason, it doesn't really matter. It's not their job to like the kitchen staff. It's their job to work with the kitchen staff, the kitchen management, to ensure that they know what the kitchen staff, the cooks, the chefs need in order to make sure that everything on that menu is available for the month of January. So you wake up on January 1st and there's no food in the walk-ins. There's no straws. There's no cutlery. There's no to-go containers. There's no cups. There's nothing. Nothing's been done. And you start calling these employees that you've hired, that you're paying. You're going to continue to pay them even though your restaurant is closed. And you're calling them and you're calling them and you're calling them and you're calling them. And they're not answering. They went for coffee and then they went for lunch and then they went for dinner and then they went home and they went to bed. January 1st, January 2nd, January 3rd. They're not returning your calls. January 4th, January 5th. Still can't open the doors. January 6th, January 7th. You can't pay your wait staff. January 9th, January 10th. The light bills are due. Can't pay those. January 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, and so on. And now they've all but essentially told you they don't plan to work for another 2 weeks. What are you going to do about it? Well, in that scenario, they probably would have been fired January 1st. You had until January 1st. We gave you ample time to do a budget and purchase supplies, and you did not do that. I cannot open the doors to my restaurant on January 1st. I do not have customers paying to ensure that I am maintaining my bills, that I am paying my staff. Other staff members are suffering because I can't open the restaurant. I can't pay them if I'm not making money. This is all your fault. You are fired. We need to fire these guys. We need to fire them. We need to hold them accountable. We are the boss. I don't know what that looks like. I believe that's called a revolution, but I am in no way inciting violence. I am not a violent person. If there's no way to get these guys out of their jobs because they are not doing them, we are paying them to do something that they are not doing, and they are doing everything but representing us, then we need to fix the system. This is not working. We're letting these guys run amok, spend our money, give it away. Yeah, in this restaurant analogy, let's say our staff decided to take it next door and give half of our money to the restaurant next door. Because, it'll look nice. If they're doing well, then at some point when we're open, like maybe we'll be doing well too. But it's bullshit because they're our competitor and they've been undermining us for the last 5 years. We need to fire these guys. They are not doing their job. They are being paid an above average salary to essentially go to lunch. And this is unacceptable.